We are live and ready to start when you are.
Okay, so I can start now.
Yes, you can.
All right. Good morning, class, and welcome to your lesson for today. Um, we'll be looking at designing skills and making skills under our technology for term two. All right. My details are on the screen. Your presenter is Mr. Razak Seidu. All right. And let's look at our lesson objectives. By the end of the lesson, we should be able to investigate how waste paper and cardboard are recycled to produce new products for the what packaging industry. We should also be able to understand the technology, the positive impact on that technology with a positive impact on society. Let me take it again. We should also appreciate the positive impact of technology on society. We should also be able to draw a development of an open container. We should be able to design and make packaging for a purpose. And then we should be able to understand the component of what a paper or what paper and cardboard are made of. All right. So we are going to look at what components of the paper. Yeah, so even though we are going to look for at how to investigate and design objects, we need to start from somewhere. So we are going to look at what are papers and cardboards made of. All right. So a paper recycling factory makes new paper or cardboard out of what? Waste paper. The way this is done is explained below. You can also make recycled paper at home. Very, very important. All right. Waste paper is mixed with warm water and chemicals. It is stirred and chopped up by a machine to separate the thin little fibers that the paper is made of. The machine that stirs and chops up the mixture of paper and water works like a what? A food blender. The mixture of chopped up paper and water is called the paper pulp. Two, the pulp is poured through a sieve. All glue and fiber that are very short pass through the sieve, and long, strong fibers remain on top. These fibers then go to a stirred up to a stirred tank where chemicals are added to remove ink from the pulp. Now, new glue is added to the pulp. If the recycled paper will be used for writing and printing, some clay is also added to the pulp because the clay gives paper a smoother surface. All right. Now, the pulp goes to a paper making machine where it is pressed between two rollers to give it the required thickness and to squeeze out water. Instead of waiting a long time for the paper to dry, it is dried more quickly by heating it and blowing hot air over it. Once the paper is dried, it is cut into what? Necessary size and packaged. All right. Now, paper fibers can be recycled. So we have just seen how paper, the components, and the designing or production of paper. Now, uh, after this is done, you go and buy it, you do your stuff, and then the paper become a waste, and you no longer need it. You have to dispose of it well. So paper fibers can be recycled as many as 7 times. So the papers that you use in class, when they use them and they take them as waste, they go and recycle them. They can recycle them what? As many as what? 7 times. But each time it is recycled, the fibers get broken into shorter and shorter fibers. If it is recycled too many times, the fibers become too short and weak to use for making paper again. Yes. So it's good. You can make fiber out of it. But as you recycle, when you start recycling up until the seventh time, then the fibers are getting weak and weak, and uh, they cannot be used for proper making of paper because the fibers get weakened and weakened. All right. How are paper and cardboard recycled? Look carefully at the sizes of the box. Then open the box so you can look inside it. So we shall see the a box. So how are paper and cardboard recycled? So if we look at a box, then we open it and look inside it. But we do not cut the box open. While you are looking inside, you will see that the box is of different faces. So we have a face is one of the flat surfaces of the box that can be seen from the outside. An edge is the line where two faces meet. A corner is where three faces meet at a single point. At this point, there are also three edges that are meeting. A tab is an extra flap attached to a face that helps to keep the box closed. It cannot be seen from the outside of a closed box. So what it means is that uh, these are the stuff that a box is made up of. So if you are going to recycle it, you must do what? You must take it out neatly and nicely so that we will be able to do that. Now let's just look at the box as we are talking of. You have the face, you have the top, and then you have the corner, you have the what? The edges. So we can simply say a box is made up of a face, an edge, a top, and then a corner. So take note of this. All right. Now let's look at there are different ways in which an edge can be made into a card box. Unbroken edge, the cardboard is simply folded along a line. Edge made using a tab. One of the tab faces that come together has a tab attached to it. This tab folds in underneath the other face to close the box. The edge made with a tab glued to another face. This is the same as the edge made with a tab, but this time the tab is permanently attached to the other face by glue. All right. Now, this is what I've just spoken about. So we have got the number one is unbroken edge. Number two is edge made using the tab. And number three is edge made with the tab glued to another face. So I know some of you have done this in one way or the other when you were still playing in school or at home when it came to what technology practical session. Okay, now we know the edges, we know the parts of the box. Now the next thing is how do we draw the box? Draw the box, draw the development of a box. So for us to construct a box, we have to get the layout completely so that we can fold it nicely. So the skills required is what we are going to look at now. So first of all, cut the box open along the edge where it was glued together. Fold it flat. We call this the flat plan or development of the what box. So as you can see, you have a box, you cut open it like this. It's called the flat plan or development of the box. So a flat plan is simply cutting a box and opening it and the box lying flat. Now, there is a reason why we do this. So if you want to design your own box, you have to cut it open like this so that you will be able to trace the outline of this box so that you can do what? You can fold it nicely and get a box using different material. All right. Now let's look at the drawing skills. So we have looked at how to cut the box so that we can get the flat or the development of the box. Then we look at the drawing. So after we have done this, let me just go back. After we have done this, the flat plan or the development of the box, then what we need to do is that we will have to do the drawing. So our drawing skills come in here. We have to trace the development on to a piece of paper using a faint line trace, a faint line. We trace it in the middle of the box of the blank paper, excuse me, the middle, or we trace it in the middle of the blank piece of paper so that there is a space left around the trace development. You can use the development many times to trace, like the illustration that is shown. All right, now this is what we're talking about. So supposing you want to design an object like this. So first of all, you get the object, you trace the outline. Then when you trace the outline, you use a faint, then after you can just deepen them a bit. Okay, so we do the same thing to the box. It depends on what kind of object we are trying to design or to make. All right, now we're still on drawing skills. When you trace the development of the box, your lines were not very neat and straight. That is that is why you made the lines faint. There is a reason for making your lines faint. Now you use a ruler to draw straight dark lines over the faint lines of your development. The dark lines has to show where the paper has to be cut. Do not draw dark lines for any other reason. Otherwise, you may later cut off something that you don't want to cut off. Yes. So after drawing the flat plan layout, you draw using a fade line. Then after you use a ruler to darken them so that it will help you to cut. All right. Now add dash lines to show where the paper will be folded. Now some of you have done this in one way or the other. Now cut your development. Do not cut the dash lines that are for the folding. All right. Fold the development to make it into a box. If you accidentally cut off something that you should not have cut off, don't worry. Most people make mistakes. And when they try to design and make a box for the first time, but learn from your mistakes. Ask yourself what you should do next time to make the box right or better. I know some of you have done this in one way or the other when you were kids, even though you still are or you still is, but you still know you have traced out something and then you decide to put it back again. So that is what we're just talking about. Technology is about what you do in everyday life as a kid. All right, now it's time for us to design the designing stage. Make your own box. So learning the tricks. So now that we have successfully made a paper box, you will prepare for making a stronger box out of cardboard using the same design. Remember, cardboard is more difficult to fold, and thick cardboard can crack when you fold it. You first need to learn a trick for folding cardboard. You also need to learn how to join two pieces of what cardboard together with glue. You will have to do it in such a way that the glue will dry quickly and the joint will be strong. Now, how do we do the gluing? If those of you who have done this in class, in fact, this is a kind of practical work, but we're just revising through here because we cannot just do it as if we were in a class. So just to recap what we have done so far. Now, how to glue a cardboard. You will join two pieces of cardboard with white wood glue, but first do an experiment to find out whether it is better to use a lot of glue or only a little bit of glue. Join two small pieces of cardboard with a thick layer of glue between them. Press the pieces of cardboard together for 2 minutes, then let go. Has the glue dried? Try to gently pull the two pieces of cardboard apart. Is the joint strong? Yes. So you must ask yourself, when you are doing your design brief, you are making sure that uh, you are serving a purpose. And when you are serving a purpose, the structure that you are doing should be strong and should uh, stand the test of time, even if it is a cardboard. Now try to join two other pieces of cardboard. This time, use very little glue. Put only a drop of glue on the cardboard and then spread it with your finger. Wood glue is not poisonous and you can wash it off with water. Okay. The cardboard should look wet and shiny. It should not look white like the glue. Press the pieces of cardboard together for 2 minutes, then let go. Has the glue dried? Try to gently pull the two pieces of cardboard apart. Is the joint strong again? Any stage you do, or if you are trying to join two things together, you must try to pull it apart just to see whether your joint is strong. All right. Now, in doing this, there are some of us, we have learned about reinforcement. We can factor in the idea of reinforcement even in the construction of what our box. So you remember reinforcement simply talks about what? Adapting materials to withstand forces. So the forces of tension, forces of compression, forces of shear, forces of torsion. You see, you can adapt materials and incorporate them into your design so that you at the end of the day your box or your structure is a bit strong. Okay, so when designing and constructing structures, there are various design issues that we need to consider. So these include the structural elements. Yes, so you are looking at your what? Your the structural element, the parts, or how your object should look like. So in this case, we are talking about a box. So how our box will look like, the materials that we will add to make it strong. Reinforcing techniques. Reinforcing technique is just to what? Make your what? Your box to be strong. So here, if you applied a small bit of glue and then your joint was not strong enough, it means you have to add more, or you can also add a substance that will hold with the glue together. So that is, we are talking about reinforcing techniques here. Then, yes, so stability, when you leave it to stand, will it be there without moving away? All right. Then, will it be attractive? Yes, you must take note of it. And then, what is the impact on the what? The environment. So anything we are doing in technology, we must look at the positive and the negative impact. But more often than not, we look at the word positive and then try to solve the negative impact when we are doing the constructing or the designing process. Yes. So you remember to reinforce something is to make it strong. So here we are designing a what? A box. So we just want to design a box that looks strong. Okay. All right. Now, after this, we have been talking about how the paper is being recycled. So, first of all, when something you have used is no longer needed, we have to what? Use the three R's. We have to reduce it, we have to reuse it, and then we have to what? Recycle it. Now let's go on. Remember last week we were looking at the damages that the environment that the materials in the form of plastic can have an impact on what? The environment. So we said last week we learned that it damages the environment when more and more plastic is made and thrown away unnecessarily or irresponsibly so. We can reduce this negative impact on the environment in different ways. Yeah. What are the ways? By using the what? The three R's. So what are the three R's? You reduce, you reuse, you recycle. All right. So firstly, you can buy less plastic things. One way of doing that, you buy less plastic things, which is called reducing your what? Consumption. So for example, if you always go to the shop and you buy your groceries and then you use a plastic. Now, if you go home and you don't throw it away, you can use it. So the more you reuse it, in fact, you are trying to reduce your consumption of plastic. Anytime you go to do what? To buy plastic, then you buy another a new plastic. So sometimes when you go to the shopping malls, there are some people who are holding their plastic. Yes, it's very responsible so because they do the more you buy the plastics, the more you throw them away, and the more the effect you have a negative effect on the environment. So firstly, how do we do that? We can buy less plastic things, which is called reducing your consumption. And secondly, what do we do? You can use some things over and over. So just like I was saying, so the first instance, you can buy things that are not made of plastic, that's fine. Number two, you can use a plastic or any object over and over again so that you don't have to buy new things. This is called reusing things. Okay. So this week we've learned about recycling. What if you have something and that something gets broken or you don't need it anymore? Then you have to throw it away. Fortunately, there is a clever way of throwing things away by separating different types of waste. Yes. So you see that there are some of our various homes where they have put different types of containers there. This one is for plastic items. This container is for what? Paper items. This one is for food leftovers. So you are doing this so that you don't mix your waste, so that when you are disposing of them, then it's done in a nice way. So, for example, if you and your family collect all your plastic waste separately, then someone can take that plastic to a recycle factory where new plastic is made from the old plastic. Then these days, when you send it there, you are going to get few bags for your effort, or you're going to give it to somebody, those guys who are going around picking them. So in a way, you are helping someone to get some small employment because this one will go around, fetch them, and then go to the recycling factory. They will weigh, and then this one will get few bags for that or few money, so that that person can support himself. Even bottles, you see that some women go around, they collect these things. Yeah, they collect them, and then they are transported to the recycling factory for what? For good use, so that they will get money. Even the old car batteries, there are some people that go around and they take them. So you go to Pretoria, where there is a factory there that takes them, or people there that they are buying them. They weigh them, and then they give you something for your effort. That is recycling in another way. All right. Okay. So um, I've been talking. Now it's your turn. So what I want you to do, if you have any question, you just post it before we start with our activity. And then after we do the corrections, and then we call it a day. So it's your turn now for your activities. Guys, we'll do number one and then we go to number two. So let's go to number two. Number two is saying, why can paper not be recycled more than 7 times? Okay, guys, let's go to question. Okay, some of you are already in question 4. Yes, guys, I'm still here. Okay, let's go to the next slide to see whether we will. All right, guys, let's go to, let's look at the corrections for your answers. All right, so let's look at the corrections. All right. So some of you, you gave some answers. You have to see whether you were right. So I managed to correct some of you, but the others. All right. So it says, what is a cardboard made of? So listen. Cardboard is made of waste paper, water, and chemicals. Why can't paper not be recycled more than 7 times? Okay, why can paper not be recycled more than 7 times? The fibers of the recycled papers are broken down during recycling and get too weak and too short. So that's why it shouldn't be, when it recycled more than 7 times, then you see these things being affected. So it will get too weak and too short instead of being long. Now, question three, what will happen when the holes of the sieve are too big? Too many strong fibers will be wasted as they will go through the what? The holes. Only the short, weak ones must be sieved. What will happen? Yes. What will happen when the holes of the sieve are too small? Too many weak fibers will stay in the paper, making the paper of what? Poor quality. So it depends on what you are doing. You can you can get, and then it depends on what you, how much money you want. You see that some people produce poor quality paper but in large quantities, so they have produced poor quality paper in large quantities because they want more money. So it's better to do something very good, of good quality, but in small number, than for it to be expensive, but and then than to produce something that is what, of low quality and even not that expensive. So when you buy it after 1 or 2 days or 1 week or 2 weeks, then it's gone. Yes. All right. Okay, guys. We have come to the end of this lesson. But if you have got some questions, you can ask before we call it a day. I'm still available here. You can ask your question through the platform. Did you guys hear me? All right. So if you have some questions, you can send them through. All right, guys, I can see that we have come to the end of this class, and enjoy your day and see you tomorrow, where we will be doing a recap of what we have done throughout the week. All right. Bye for now.